Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. We got a great show in store for you. We have Michael and Michelle Henry. Michael, he's a pro mod racer, and Michelle, she is working her way up through the ranks. She's running Top Sportsman. She was also featured as one of the honorees of the 30 Under 30 with Drag Illustrated at the PRI show just a few weeks ago. But before we get into all the questions, we have a few messages for you, and we'll be right back.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
Good afternoon, Michael and Michelle. I want to thank y'all for taking time out of y'all's busy schedule. I know it doesn't take long from the end of the season to the beginning of the season to start right back up again. We're looking at maybe 2-3 months at the most, and you got to start preparing and getting things ready. But again, I want to thank y'all for both coming on the podcast tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us, man. Really excited. We're going to have some fun this evening.
There you go. I like that. And then once again, like Mitchell said, thank y'all for coming on, Miss Michelle and Michael, and y'all being on the West Coast. Okay, it's nighttime here. Okay, so y'all don't have to worry about that right now. So you'll probably have to cut away early from work to come do this. So, but we thank you for it. We don't get an opportunity to talk to many West Coast racers like yourself. So we thank you for it. So, Mitchell.
Yeah, one of the things I want to, discuss tonight, so a lot of more people get to know you, a little bit about y'all's history, how y'all came up through the ranks to race in this wonderful sport that we all love, drag racing.
Well, I'll start with me. I started 30 years ago, and probably like a lot of guys that are out there, street racing, right? So we did the whole street race thing, and I think I got to one point when my wife was just like, hey, this is getting a little too dangerous. You're not going to risk the house or my kid's future. So I think you better find an alternative. And so after years of street racing, ended up going to some Wednesday night drags. So me and a few folks that raced, like Bodie, West Coast racer, No Prep, he and we raced all the time. Like I remember days of racing down by Candlestick Park here in San Francisco. Man, so many cars out there from all over the Bay Area drag racing. It was really fun and exciting. It was safe. Nobody ever got hurt. My wife would actually park behind us after we did our burnouts, and her and a few other people with the kids in the car, so that if let's just say law enforcement showed up, they would have a little tougher time catching up.
Yep. I know what you're getting at there, and we all do.
Crazy times, but we really started going to the tracks, hitting the local tracks around here, and really that's where I started honing my skills as a driver and also as a mechanic, because I'm a mechanic by trade. So it really drag racing, street racing, it kind of all blended into my trade, and I'm just glad that I'm able to share that experience with my daughter. It's really truly a blessing that I get to enjoy this sport that so many of us enjoy with my family. So yeah, that was me, man. I was out there for many years. I raced. There's a lot of West Coast class racing. I raced Top Sportsman, racing some pro mod. worked on some alcohol funny car teams, some pro mod teams, some street all no prep cars. So been around quite a bit. Turned a few wrenches. Have a lot of colleagues and friends out there. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got it going.
Jeez, you can't believe you started with Bodie. I mean, talk about somebody to start with. You got Bodie, Izzy, and all that group, down towards Compton and stuff like that. I'm like going, gee whiz, talk about a history of a place to start.
Yeah, heck of a place to start, man. And we're still competitors today. I just talked to him a little while ago, and we're talking about how we're going to get dialed in. He and I, to continue that legacy that we started 30 years ago, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll take you up on it, no problem. Just depending on where you're at,
right?
Yeah, I got you. You just got to get your steps set first. You just got to get that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Miss Mieshael. Go ahead.
Okay. And so with me, I started in 2023. But before that, I always watched my dad at the track. Always been inspired by my family. Just seeing my mom and dad work together was really an inspiration. And so, and I believe 2019, I was telling my parents I want to race. My dad was going to send me down to drag racing school, but COVID happened, and so I didn't get to do that. So I waited a few years later, and it was July of 2023, and I was sitting in a race car, and I told my dad I want to race. He looked at me and laughed and said, "Yeah, okay." And months later, I'm sent to Frank Holly drag racing school, and I'm like, "What? This is a dream come true!" Like, you just laughed at me and told me, "Yeah, right," and now you're sending me to school. And so, in September, I ended up getting my license. Like I said, I went to Frank Holly drag racing school out in Las Vegas, and from there, we raced at Sacramento Raceway up closed in November. And after that, I just been racing and racing and racing. I mean, I've been on KTVU2 News for Women's History Month. I've raced in front of the big guys at the NHRA Denso Nationals. We raced at Race Wars in front of thousands. Now being the 30 under 30 nominee from San Francisco Bay Area, I think that's just so wonderful, just to represent from where we're from on the West Coast. And then I'm racing with the West Coast Outlaws, big tire. So it's pretty fun. I've been having one heck of a year in racing.
You see that smile on her face, Michael? You see that? Now, that's where I kind of was going to lead to next real quick is Miss Mieshael. Did your father ever have I can't say difficulty letting go, but did he ever have a difficulty in you driving the car? Meaning, hey, this is my girl, this is my daughter. You know what I mean? Was there anything like that, or was he the toughest teacher on you versus anybody?
And tough. Well, you got to realize. I mean, and for me, I thought my son was going to be the one at drag race first off,
right?
But I quickly figured out that she was going to be the one to get that had that need for speed, because I was changing brakes out on her car, 2 to 3 times a year, and I'm like, who does this? Like,
my wife.
She's going through brakes right and left. But just really, she had that need for speed and didn't realize that she was going to be the one to pick it up. So, yeah, I'm her toughest critic when it comes to driving. I'm always on her to be the best, very supportive. And because I maintain and service the car, I didn't have any doubts that she would be safe in the car. So I felt really good. Biggest challenge for the last, 5, 6, maybe 10 years has been her mother giving her authorization to drive. That's where the challenge.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, Mama didn't approve. It took a little while to bring her around. Usually Mama's, like, okay. We'll let your father decide. And they're like going, usually father's a little more reluctant, but not in your case. So,
yeah.
But
I know I kept telling her, Mom, I want to race. And she was telling me, no, it's not safe. I don't want you to do it. And then, like I said, in 23, actually before I told my dad I wanted to race, me and her was sitting in a trailer and I said, Mom, I want to race. And she said, you know what? It's your life. Do what you want to do. Now go talk to your dad. And I said, okay. And so that's when I went to talk to my dad about it.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Now, you mentioned that you went through Frank Holly's drag racing school, one of the best schools in the country to go through. And you know what's so good about it? You didn't have to come all the way to Florida to be able to take that chance. You actually was able to go out to Las Vegas for one of the programs there that he does. They travel to several different tracks. What is the number one thing that you think that you got the most out of attending that program?
Well, there's a few things, but more so of knowing where I am on the track. Because most people, I wouldn't say most people don't know, but some people don't know where they are on the track. Rather it's lining yourself to do a burnout, rather it's backing up if you don't have anyone to guide you back to the stage, to the beam, sorry.
Right.
And so doing that by myself was a little tough for me because before I went to Frank College Drag Racing School, I actually raced in Sacramento. There was a big race, and my dad said, "Let's just get in there and practice before you go." And I'm so used to having my mom and my dad guiding me and telling me where to line up, to where now it's like they can't line you up. You have to figure this out on your own. And trying to line yourself up straight is not as easy as you think it is without anyone guiding you. And so that was probably one of my biggest challenges at the school, but everything else was pretty, like, it just came second nature.
What did you think about the mental part that Frank went over? You know, about how to keep your nerves calm, and you know, explaining how your eye sees the light and how long it takes it for it to, you know, get to your
React.
brain and reaction from that, which I think is one of the best things that he does with this program. A lot of drivers, you know, they go through his program. 2 or 3 years later, they go back through it just so they can reiterate what they had learned in the past about how to keep themselves calm, how to decipher that light when it comes on, and the reaction time before your brain registers to either if you're letting go off the button or you're letting go off the brake, or you're top fuel driver, funny car driver, and you're letting go of the handbrake. Do you think that was a really good part of the program?
Absolutely. You know, because there's a lot that goes on in the brain right before you take off. And as much as you want to stay calm, you know, sometimes something to throw you off and you have to bring yourself back and remember that you are going against somebody, you're racing against someone. And so that was like a big part of an experience for me where I was like, okay, remember what my dad said, remember what Frank said, calm down. You know, you only have a few seconds to be in these beams before that light goes off and you out of there. And so I appreciate both of them for that because I'm pretty sure I would be like all over the place mentally, not calming down. You know, it's very important to be calm before the race. And so I know when I first started, I was all over the place mentally because this was something new. It's like a foreign language to me, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, it's just so much. But now I'm to a point where I'm like, okay, it's okay, calm down. You're about to race. Don't let anything distract you. You only have 7 seconds before that light goes off. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yes,
You know, and I think it's a really good thing, you know, you attending the school before you really get really active in racing, because you know the good thing is you didn't bring any bad habits with you. You were able to, you know, keep your ears open and observe everything. Now, if I went to Frank school or Robert goes to Frank school, it might be a different situation because we're probably going to bring some bad habits with us because we've been racing for years. And, you know, a lot of people have a tendency of not turning off their mouth and listen to what's being taught to them. And so I think that was really good and beneficial for you to, you know, go through that program before you actually got so in depth in the sport?
Yes.
Yeah, and for me, it was really important that I send her to the school for the various reasons that you just named. Right, I didn't want to teach her all my bad habits and tricks, so I figured I just started her off with some serious basics with Frank Holly. They have an excellent program down there. I felt confident, just as much confident with her being in their cars as I did in mine. I mean, I touch mine almost daily, so I know that car is safe for her. And we had the same confidence that she obtained her license down there in Las Vegas. You know, Las Vegas is one of the premier facilities on the West Coast next to Sonoma. And I tell you, man, it was really a treat to stand on the big end and watch her come down through that finish line, getting her license passed.
I bet you had a big smile on your face, didn't you?
You couldn't get the helmet off of her.
Big smile on my face. I kind of knew that. I says, man, what did I do? I think I just opened up a can of whip. This is going to get expensive quick.
Yep, real quick. But you see, I like the fact that you're wise enough that you want to teach your daughter the correct way by not getting her in habits, or not that it's unsafe, but just getting her in habits that might not be the best for her. Because I can only imagine stepping into a vehicle like that on you would be behind on driving versus in front of it. So more behind you get, the worse it gets down the track. And I can't imagine something as quick. You go what, low sevens?
Yeah, she's been right there, tickling the 6 second zone.
Okay. Low sevens, leaning on the sixes. And I think you still got the 1.4 barrel 615 in it, 632, something like that.
615 in it. And there's another reason, believe me, I'll talk about this later, but there's another reason I sent her to the school. So we'll talk about that one later. 615, running a power glide transmission, little nitrous system on there that we got, and man, she's been doing good. A couple of years ago, I was talking to Eric, and me and Eric about getting her into pro stock. And Eric's like, you know what, Mike, these cars accelerate quick. So one of the best things I could recommend you do is take that naturally aspirated motor, put you a fogger system on there, and have her just start practicing to get used to the acceleration. And he's like, kick it in the rear end off the starting line, because that's the way a pro stock or a pro mod car is going to feel to her. So that's what we're doing, is just really getting her, and I'm ramping the power up a little bit at a time to get her comfortable to that G-force, Libra, 60 foots.
Yeah, you talk to a lot of pro stock drivers, and they'll tell you, taking off is like getting hit in the back with a sledgehammer. And if you don't have that thing set up just right when you take off, you start getting a tire wobble, and you think that your teeth are going to fall out your mouth, and they are some wild and tough machines to drive. You have to be really good, and like you said, you're slowly getting her up to that point, which is really great, and it's going to be beneficial for her in her future. And I tell you, another thing that you're doing that's going to help you go a long ways is in marketing, and the things that you have been doing with your reels and TikTok with Redline Oil is just.
I like that one, by the way.
Yeah.
I like that one. Nice touch with the Pink Panther music. I like that. Mitchell and I were talking about that. That was nicely done. It was very simplistic, but very, very well done. So, sorry, you were saying, Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it was a professional thing that you were doing there, and it probably took you maybe 30 so minutes to do everything and go through and edit, and it's perfect. It showcased your sponsor very well, and a lot of other marketing partners out there is going to be able to see what you've done, and it's going to open up doors down the road for potential marketing partners to come in and sponsor you with more and more money. And the good thing that I see in that, it's not about getting product or whatever from your sponsor, but you're also helping them sell by using that reel, and that means a lot.
Yes.
And one of I don't know where she comes up with these ideas, Robert, but come home there's all kind of stuff laid out in front of the house. I'm like, what the heck is going on? He's making the real dad, get out the way, right? But
And mom's like, just let it be.
yeah, but we really believe that making sure that our marketing partners get a return on investment, and social media way to get out there, because a lot of them don't have that bandwidth to send somebody out on social media all the time. So Redline Mark is great. Mark
Yes.
Betty really taking care of us, but those relationships, as you mentioned, Mitchell, open up the door for other relationships to happen, right? And one of the things that we look at in entertaining our marketing partners and going after sponsors is really making sure that these folks are good people, that same core values that we have, because I think in this sport, in this country, that's really important to have values. And it's not just about who can throw and lay down some money. It's really about, how does this fit? And if I'm going to stamp my family's name on this, it's got to be a good, solid product. It's something that we believe in, that I can recommend to others.
Right.
Agreed.
Like we talked on Tuesday, you're exactly correct. Because when you're out there and you have those logos on your car, and you are their salesman for those people who are out there at the track, they're going to come to you. You also got to know their product, and also know the product very well that you're using on your car, so you can explain it to the spectator. And so you are the salesman. And by the way, Mark, he's on watching. So
Yeah. Yeah. He just chimed in. He said Team Redline, because Redline is partnered with us also on the Spot Motorsport Media, along with Scorpion Racing Products. So yeah, we interviewed Mark earlier, or now it's 25, excuse me, earlier last year. And I tell you what, I really like Mark. He is down to earth and is about as good as guys as could be. So he's a good representative himself of Redline. And Mitchell and I both run their products and been very happy with all their products.
Yeah, we've run Redline for many years and very happy with the products. Real happy with the support. And more so than anything, if I got a question, I can call Mark up, even if it's about Redline oil. I mean, and this is the family that I'm talking about, right? Like, all of us, one big family. We're trying to keep this sport alive. And a lot of people have asked me, well, Mike, you got a lot of years left in this. Yeah, I do, but I also want to make sure that the next generation has a pathway as well. I don't want to hold on for so long that it's now out of reach of that next generation. So I thought it was the proper time for me to really start getting my daughter engaged in the sport, to keep this thing going, because I want to see it alive and well for a long time. We don't want to be folks that burn sponsors out by not providing return on their investment, or doing things like this. They're talking about, hey, you know what? Service interruption. We're Redline right now.
I like that.
But really, appreciate all the support from those marketing partners. I mean, we've been working with companies like Hoosier Tires West, that provides her with safe tires to go down the track all the time. We use things like Foggit, engine fog spray that keeps our engines, both in the Pro Mod car and in her Firebird. It keeps those engines, cylinder walls, everything lubricated, and it keeps it going. We brought on, for this year, we're bringing on Renegade Race Fuel.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
They stepped up, man. They were like, we met them at the PRI show. We're walking around, and they're like, hey, we like your program. We want to get in D&M Racing. So that was cool to bring them on. And I think through those connections, and Mark helps us, everybody's kind of helping get her going. So I think it's really worked out well. As we were walking through PRI as a trip, because I had talked to Tommy Cunningham and down with the Stroud, and we met before the PRI show. But when we got there and talked to him and his wife, man, it felt like we were at home. Really family oriented, and that's what it's all about, right? Good people.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
of his family. They were so nice and so sweet. I was like, oh, you guys feel like family members I already have.
You see, that's what we like dealing with, just like you said. Yeah. Mark, it's not bad. Okay, buddy. It's okay, Mark. Nobody let no secrets out. Okay. So it's good. Enjoy the cigars, by the way. Enjoy the cigars. Yeah, we understand exactly like you said. Mark, like many other companies out there in the racing industry that are involved in many different facets, we agree with everything you said. It's all a big family. Even though it's spread out all over the world, it's actually a small family. So, word gets around on people helping others and you want to lift up racers. You want to lift up companies that support racers. You want to lift up tracks. And that's what we believe in here on the spot of doing, is encouraging and lifting up, just like what y'all were doing. But yeah, it's like I got to look into Foggett myself, because I think Foggett, isn't it owned by K&N, by the Williams?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, my mistake. I thought it was. Okay, I thought it was. But I still need to look into it, because I need to it sure beats the old automatic transmission fluid, that whole thing. That's the old school method, so we're not going to get into that. But
Michael, Michael, you said something that was really hit me really good, and that is, we got to get young people involved in our sport and keep on this thing going. And I just want to let people know that are in Florida, South Georgia, if you're a school and you want to take the kids on a field trip, Sick Week is letting schools to bring the kids to one of those events on their travels between all the tracks to come witness what's going on. I thought that was a really great move by Sick Week magazine to offer schools to come to either Gainesville or Orlando, Bradenton, or South Georgia to take part and watch these cars go down the track and talk to the racers, especially, some of the big names that's going to be there. Jeff Lux, Cletus McFarland, or Mitchell Garrett, either way, just Garrett Mitchell, whichever you want to call him. Alex Taylor and her father, just a lot of big names that travel Sick Week. And I think it's a really great opportunity to get those kids hooked. You know what I always say, if you get them hooked on racing, they'll never have money to spend on drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. You get them hooked on legal racing. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah, legal. Okay, legal racing.
Let's just say
don't
legal
do like
racing.
we used to do on the streets.
Right. Not like we used to do when we were young.
This is why it's such an important piece to this, that Westbuck and Drag Illustrated do what they do, right? Because what that program did, not only is it highlights, the young generation of racers and mechanics and social media icons and professional racers as well, because we see them in the 30 under 30 as well. But it also creates a platform for these folks to expand their careers. It puts them in a position just like this. We're here on a podcast with you all, and that may not have happened had she not been a part of the Drag Illustrated 30 for 30. I know you were there filming and uploaded a bunch of stuff to the site for others to see the whole program that weren't there, Mitchell. But I really think what Drag Illustrated has done is really important to the sport, and others need to take note of that, right? Really highlighting what these young people are doing, because oftentimes I hear of too many kids that are almost left to raise themselves in rooms with video games when they really should be outside, trying to figure some of this stuff out, working on some cars or getting involved in something, So I think what Drag Illustrated has brought to the industry.
Totally
agree.
agree.
And I'll tell you, you're talking about Wes Buck. That man right there really does care about the racing community. I mean, he really does. He wants drag racing to last. He wants sanctioned bodies to come along and more tracks to be built, so more people's got places to go race at. He put together the Winter Series instead of having just a World Series of Pro Mod. Got it together, got a 3-race schedule for that, and they're looking at the future. I heard this podcast yesterday, or was it? Yes, it was yesterday, that they may even want to try to extend that and have 1 or 2 more races of that series. So it'd be really cool if they can, do one at Gainesville, one in Orlando, and a couple in Bradenton. I would love it. I would go to them.
Yeah.
One
But,
day
yeah.
I want to.
I'll get ready to say, y'all just need to move east. I don't know when you plan on retiring, Michael, but y'all just need to move east. I'm just saying, yeah. We can find y'all a spot, but I tell you what, Miss Mieshael, we understand that that basically illicit, the 68 Firebird is yours. Okay. We understand it. By the way, great name. Okay. But you also have another vehicle. There you go. There you go. You also have another vehicle in your stable. I believe it's a 63 Corvette. Is that Ruthless?
Yes, that's Ruthless. I named Ruthless. When we got the car, we couldn't figure out a name, and Illicit was already like cutthroat, and I was like, we gotta have another cutthroat name. And we were all sitting in the garage, and we just kept coming up with these names, like nothing is sticking. And I was like, Ruthless. And at first we were like, my mom and my dad was like, I don't know. And then I kept saying,
Kept saying it.
like, okay, we got Illicit and Ruthless, two cutthroat names.
By the third time, it's stuck.
Yeah, for us, I mean, like I grew up, racing around guys that every car had a name.
Yep.
Town Hustler, the Mighty Mouse team. I mean, there was people dressing up. It was a fun event, and I like to see cars with names. I love it. And that's why we made sure we put names on each of our cars, man. I tell you, it's really a blessing to see her, drive the Firebird. But this year we'll be getting her tested and licensed in the Corvette as well. So we got a lot of big things happening in 25 as far as our race schedule goes.
That's true. Did you have a chance to run Ruthless much this year, or you just mainly been working with Miss Mieshael and Illicit and with that this year?
We
24, you should say. Go ahead.
When we picked up Ruthless, had a clutch in it, and me being who I am, I'm going to tackle the clutch, the car. I'm going to do it all. Quickly found out that a one-man show on a clutch car isn't really good. That's a
little tough.
I was talking to a good friend of mine who runs Mountain Motor Pro Stock over there with Chris Powers, Rob Biel. And Rob says, you must like work, man, because you're going to work hard. And I'm like, no, Rob, I can handle it. Well, after getting my tail kicked and my teeth knocked down in Bakersfield, I said, you know what? Out goes the clutch. We'll put that on the shelf for a while. And Steve over there at Quick Drive. So we got a Quick Drive going in it, a Neil Chance converter going in it, and a very simple trans brake button.
There you go. I was getting ready to say just that. You're going to keep it simple. So you went to the Fuel and Gas Championship. Is that what it was in Bakersfield?
Yeah, we had that, what they formerly called the California Hot Rod Reunion.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that was cool, man, just being out there with all the fans. It happened around Halloween weekend, so Mieshael, my wife, everybody was all dressed up in Darth Vader costumes, the Incredibles. I mean, you should.
I didn't expect that. That's funny.
And
I like that.
Up as Darth Vader, I had to make sure I had the theme music going on too.
Are you serious? So
Yeah.
you were Darth Vader?
I was there.
Oh my goodness! How tall are you?
5'3.5". So I'm a little person. Yes.
That was a little Darth Vader.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to say I wasn't going to say nothing. I was like, but okay, I would like to have seen that, and I could totally envision you with the theme music. I could totally envision it.
Yeah.
They just walking through. It's like, all right, and the winner is.
You got to go all out. All out.
I mean, I like that. I mean, that's definitely the way to go. So how quick have you been with Ruthless so far?
That number is to be. We won't discuss.
Got you. I got you.
But it's a blown Hemi. Really lightweight car. I mean, one of the most lightweight cars I've ever driven. And she actually thinks that she can beat me. And so I know we're going to talk a little bit about schedules, and we'll fast forward to one of our big events on the West Coast, and that's going to be Race Wars at Sonoma Raceway. And things that we're going to do is we're going to bring both cars out there. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start her off in the season early at a race in February, get her all practice up. Like I said before, it was a reason why I sent her to Frank Hawley School, because like Bodie used to name his races, no excuses. We're not going to have any excuses. When we go to race wars, we're going to have a father-daughter head showdown, and we're going to see who is the baddest in the house.
I like that. I like that. Not pulling any punches.
Oh, yeah. Can't pull any punches. And my wife has she's already told me that I will not be standing behind you, lining your car up. I'll be behind Mieshael. So I have to get somebody or my son to kind of guide me back. But I'm pulling out all the stops, all the tricks, all the bad habits. Everything's coming out at Race War because
she must have been digging on you this past year or two. I mean, she's getting under your skin. I'm talking rent free. I'm telling you. I mean, because you're like, I mean, I don't know. Has Mama got the split shirt yet? It listed on one side. And
we're working on that. We're working
okay.
Dad's Art says you're going down.
Yeah.
Going down.
Oh, by the way, you couldn't see it, but Mark said Baby Vader. That's what he said.
Baby Vader. There you go.
Baby Vader. And I'm like going, all right. There it is. That's why I laughed. I wasn't laughing at you, Michael. I was laughing because I read the comment. And, and I'm like going, oh, that's a good one right there. And
I had a big father-daughter shootout. I don't know how many times that has happened. I know maybe John and one of his daughters, but I don't know of too many times where a father-daughter shootout has happened. And, I got to do everything that I can, because if I drive home knowing that I got my tail kicked by my daughter, that's going to be a long ride. So I'm getting myself mentally prepared, physically prepared a little bit. I'm getting set. We're going. Dad.
I saw that. Look, Mieshael, I saw that.
Mieshael, are you going to make him ride in the trailer on the way back, and y'all drive the rig home?
Yeah, he's going to have to sit in a listed car to pay for trying to think that he's going to win.
Oh, you know what it is Mama's going to sit behind the winner. That's what it is. Whoever's in the front seat, Mama going to sit behind the winner, and just call it that. I don't know about I don't know what your mom I don't know what your wife would do, but she might be like, I'm not going to just
Get that T-shirt ready for your dad to wear. I got my butt kicked by my daughter.
I am.
Actually, we said that to some pro stock racers. We told them because there's a bunch of brothers running
the
Quattros, and we amongst them we said, hey, y'all race each other, so you need to have a shirt on. I got my butt kicked by my brother. Have their name, have those shirts made up. All of them. You saw the light bulb go on over their head. They loved it. I don't know if they're ever going to do it, but oh my goodness, inner family would be really good. But I tell you, that would be a neat combination, seeing a blown Corvette versus a nitrous Firebird. I mean, not only father-daughter, but just seeing those combinations squaring off in grudge racing or whatever, exhibition. I think that would be really cool. Hopefully they'll be fairly close on ETs when it's all said and done. Mm-hmm. I know the answer to that, but I had to say it.
I'm tuning both cars, so we'll see how it goes.
That's why I was kind of keeping that close. A single carburetor, single fogger 615 shouldn't stand against a Brad Anderson, 526, with 92% over. But
you know what? Honestly, I can tell you this though. She is a really good driver. Very, very calm, listens well. When behind the seat, like anything I tell her to do, she does it. So, as much as the car performance is important, equally the driver is, because I've seen, we've all seen races won and lost by drivers making errors. So I think, I'm going to have my work cut out for me. We're going to get her started early in the season out here. There's a race scheduled for February 15th and 16th, and we already got her locked in to a grudge race down in Bakersfield with another blown competitor. There we go, right there. We're going down to West Coast Rumble in Bakersfield on February 15th and 16th. It's a part of the Match Race Madness event. We're going to get out there early in the season. I want to test a few things anyway, so I figured, hey, you know what? Let's test out against one of our fellow blown competitors out here, Rich. and see if we can take home a win down there.
I like that. I mean, I like that. I like the fact you're willing, and I like the fact that somebody wants to grudge race. Okay, even if it's just fun or whatever like that in a special event, I think it's good not only for experience but for marketing. I think it's fantastic. And like you said, you're going to jump in and you're going to get that time ticket, so you're going to get double the information, if you know what I mean. So you're going to be able to see everything like that. Now let me ask you something, Michael. Now you've answered it, but I'm just asking again. What has been the most difficult thing that you have watching your daughter race? Is there been anything that's been difficult? I can't say accepting, but just realizing what your daughter's doing.
For me, honestly, the most difficult part for me, Rob, and I know she's a good driver, so it's all good. Most difficult part for me was we were in Reading drag strip last year. She pulled up to the line. She was racing one of our partners, Mike Malia, out of Oregon, and they got a clutch program, so we knew they were going to drag it in a little late. She pulled in, knocked on the top bulb, and then immediately following that, she dropped on the stage bulb. And right after that, she stood on the converter, and he dropped the top bulb. And all I could think was, man, I got my work cut out for me. And she stayed in it the whole time. And he brought it in as quick as he could, with the clutch car and everything. They got down the track. I think he won that race.
I did.
But yeah, all I could think of was dollar signs. So if I'm worried about anything, I'm just worried about how much money she's going to cost me.
Okay. I was wondering if you're going to get back to that. I'm like going, look, I wasn't bringing that up. Look what she did. I wasn't doing that.
But no, she's really good. So there wasn't any concerns or worry, really a vote of confidence, allowing her to drive the car. And don't get me wrong, it's not just me that works on this car. I got help from other folks that help me with tuning shots, some nitrous settings. We got folks from all over helping pitch in on this team. So it's a lot of us that contribute, not only, technically, but just some support of her. That confidence is really good to have that kind of support from fans and, folks like you all.
That's good. Okay. I can't imagine if I had a daughter and her starting off in something like that. I can't imagine. I mean, I would, even though in the background I'd be all calm and stuff, but inside I'd just be a bubbling mess. You know what I mean? Because what that car is capable of doing, and you've been in positions where on the inside you're fine, on the outside you're like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? So she's getting ready to experience the same thing. But like I said, I tip my hat to you. We both do, the way that y'all are handling it. Okay, you're both very mature, and Miss Mieshael, you handle yourself very maturely as a racer and as a marketing partner. But also the way that you're approaching it, Michael, as far as sending her to the Frank Hawley School. And like you said, obviously in a safe car, but the way that you're not jumping in and throwing everything at her. You're not putting her in the Corvette. You're letting her get her, you know what I mean? I can't say earn her way up, but experience her way up. So I like hearing that. That's good and level-headed. It's wise.
Yeah, because I knew she didn't come from the street racing background like I did. So, I knew I had to put her in a safe car, one that, pretty much she can handle and I felt confident in. We didn't cut her loose on the nitrous until maybe about the third event. So I didn't push much, but I was pushing. But I knew she could handle it and was pretty impressed at the way she drives the car. If I tell her to do something, take it out to 300 feet. I look at the race pack data, and right about the 300 feet, she's out of it. So really, stepped up as a driver, especially with just a year or so under her belt. So I was really happy with that.
That's good. That's good.
I didn't start off in the race car. Before I got to the race car, I was in my commuter car on Wednesday nights practicing. And then I got into that car, went to Frank Hawley, got in their car, and then got back in the Olympics. So
that's still a jump.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how quick your commuter was, but
seconds.
Okay, you go 14s and then you go 9s immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you go to something to 7s. That's a pretty good jump. Now there's some ladies here who grew up in juniors, and they went from juniors to super comp to alcohol in a matter of 2 years.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like going, and Mitchell, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And you're like going, you're shaking your head like, oh my gracious, man, what a jump. But they've handled it very well, just like what you're handling it. So
Yeah, and she we can get Sarah Allen is who we're talking about. And yeah, she listens very well and listens to her dad, and she does everything the correct way and tries not to overstep her bounds as she was making her way up. And I wish them the best of luck this coming year. Really looking forward to seeing them out at Gainesville at the Baby Gators and then the Gator Nationals. But yeah, it takes that mentality of just listening and doing what you're told. And if you do that, everything works out really great for you on the track, just the way it does in life. You know, even if, you know, at your job, you've had that mentality, it follows you everywhere. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, Mieshael, is what would it be like for you if someone came up to you and said, "Hey, we're going to take a chance on you, and we're going to put you in one of these pro stock cars"? What kind
first
of
of all,
feeling
would you say
have?
yes? First of all, would you say yes?
Hey.
I had to ask.
Pro stock car. Now, being that I have never experienced clutch, we'll have to take some time for me to learn how to drive a clutch car, because this one here, he thought it was so funny to say push the clutch pedal and I'll press the brake.
So we were loading the 63 into the car after we picked it up, and I'm trying to winch this thing in the trailer, but I had to roll it back out because it sat a little low. So I says, well, just hold the brake and, you know, while I adjust this and put some ramps underneath the front wheels. So I turn around and the freaking car is rolling out the back of the trailer. I'm like, hit the brake. And she's like, I am hitting the brake.
Uh-oh.
Well, she had her foot on the clutch. I'm like,
There it is. Okay. You see, once again, why'd you go state on Mieshael? Why'd you do that? You know,
I don't know.
You just did. That's twice. Okay.
It's okay. I'll take care of him in Sonoma, so it doesn't even matter.
Hey,
Well,
just
I know
make sure
Mama-
that bottle's full. Just make sure the bottle's full.
Exactly.
And on.
But,
Mama's on the other side of that camera shaking her head.
Yeah.
I'm sure of that.
All up in his head. Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness, that's going to be good. I tell you something else, y'all, both y'all. When we were doing research and stuff, the way that y'all give back to the community, okay, through different outreaches and different community groups, is really great. That shows that y'all really care about your community. And Miss Mieshael, you've even gone as far as to write a children's book, have you not?
Yes, I have. It's right here. I want to go fast. And so this book was inspired by, you know, me growing up, watching my dad, watching my parents, be in this racing industry, and me wanting to chase my dreams. And so I figured, you know, you can talk to the kids as much as you want to, but what if I'm not here to tell a story? At least I have a story here for you to read, and hopefully it inspire you to do something that it is that you want to do later on in life. And so I just, you know, stuck with the whole, I want to be a racer. I want to go fast. I want to be a drag racer just like my dad. I look up to my dad. That's my superhero right here. And so this book is basically telling you, hey, you have a dream, chase it, follow it, run with it. Never stop looking towards it. Even if something else comes in the way, continue to trace that dream and that goal, because one day it will happen for you.
I like that. That's great. So where can you get your book currently?
So you can get it on our website at dnmracingloc.com, or you can send me a message on my Instagram at Mieshael Henry, and then I'll respond and we'll get the book sent out.
There you go. I love that. I mean, I really like the fact that, I mean, you wrote a children's book.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, to me, just like Michael, like you were saying, you're working on for the next generation and beyond. She's already, taken that concept and she's working on for the next generation. While you're working on her generation. I mean,
Yeah, one of the things that we do annually is, we'll have one of the local events. Like last year, we did the Sonoma event where we brought 35, 40 kids from the inner city Bay Area out to the racetrack just to get them exposed to something. There's not a lot on the West Coast. There's not a lot of African American drivers, and so to put that connection between the motorsport industry and at-risk youth from underserved communities is great. So we just always try to give back, right? A lot of support over the years has come from others. I'm a strong believer in God, but He sent me some great people in my life, and I just try to share what was given to me to make sure that the next generation has that same opportunity, that same insight, and that same hope to have whatever it is they dream about. So I think that's a lot of what was going into her book is just never give up on your dream. I remember as a kid, I always said I want to have a dirt bike, I want to have a race car, I want to have a wife, a kid, and a house. And through God's blessings, man, we've been able to achieve all that and more. So really, really blessed and thankful to be where we are in life and in the motorsports industry.
Man, that's great.
Well, I want to ask both of y'all, what is the one track that y'all like going to the most?
Me here on the West Coast, I love Bakersfield. I think because that was the next track after Sacramento. So Sacramento was it was my home track. That was just like family was there, but it ended up getting closed down. And then my next track that I went to was Bakersfield. And I was like, oh my God, just love the track. It's so smooth. It's far out in the desert. Well, not desert, but far out there. And you can be as loud as you want. Nobody's gonna complain about the noise. It's just a wonderful track. But I won't say that's just my only favorite track. I have a few favorite tracks that we do race at. So like Sonoma Raceway, I love Sonoma Raceway. I think I love it because it's just like it's a formal, like professional looking track, and it's just like the baddest of the baddest come race at Sonoma. And then Reading Raceway, I love it because it's just like a spinoff of Sacramento Raceway. It's another home track, and it's like everybody that used to race at Sacramento Raceway is now at Reading Raceway. And I just love, 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 love all the tracks that we race at on the West Coast.
And that's one of the things that we found, really important, Rob and Mitch, is racers need to support these tracks. Racers need to do their part to promote the events, as well as the promoters, as well as the tracks. We got to get out there and support this stuff, because if we don't, we'll continue to see one of the things that we've seen over the last few years is tracks closing, especially particularly out here. And so really just want to make sure that when we're posting in social media, that we're tagging, Reading Drag Strip, that we're tagging Bakersfield, that when they're putting on events that are not conflicting, that we're showing up. We're there, even if all we're going to do is make a few exhibition passes, we're there to keep the fans engaged, to keep those gates open, because I want to see this thing last as long as I'm alive.
Agreed. And it's a shame that so many tracks have closed on the West Coast. Well, actually, all over. I can't even say only West Coast, but all over. But yeah, it's real shame for the history of drag racing and hot rodding to come from the West Coast, and then to not be what it once was. There's places I've always wanted to go to on the West Coast. I mean, even before my time, I've always wanted to go to Lyons, and that was definitely before my time. So I always wanted to go to Orange County and things like that. Just because you hear of the super tracks and you hear the history with Mickey Thompson running Lyons for so many years and things like that. It's like going, man, that's places like there. I just wanted to go just experience.
Yeah.
And that, even to this day, if I can go to a track just somewhere, even if I'm not racing, just to go visit it. Yeah, I'm definitely down with doing that. Mitchell feels the same way. So, but yeah, I mean, y'all just need to move east. I mean, just saying.
Have to do something. I was talking to one of my partners. I'm like, hey, you know what, man? I might have to lease a shop somewhere back east and relocate half the operation back there and fly in or something, because you guys are getting it on back there in the east, and definitely want to be a part of that. I mean, the East Coast, you can race almost 5 days a week, maybe 7 in some places, and the
In
tracks
some places.
within hours of each other. So, that is great. And we don't have that luxury here, but we're going to provide our marketing partners and our track promoters and our tracks with as much exposure as we can give them. We're going to make them feel like they're some of the grandest places on earth. So yeah, just really excited for 2025.
Yes.
I agree. Y'all moved to Florida. Taxes are not bad, you know. But if you move to Central Florida, there's 4 tracks you can hit within an hour and a half.
Wow.
Okay, be between the Gainesville, the Gator Nationals, Bradenton, which you're familiar with that, Orlando, and then South Georgia. So boom. I mean, so you're going to have all the Bucks races at one. You're going to have Ducks races at the other. You're going to have the Gator Nationals at the other. And then Orlando is constantly having grudge. And I don't mean a little bit. I mean a lot.
They got a lot of grudge. And as long as grudge has been going on, I just haven't, me personally, haven't really gotten involved in grudging a lot.
I got you.
I'm very passionate about racing. So I kind of stick to class. I just got to stick to
No, I got you. I'm just saying that the options there.
Yeah,
and you see, and they also have the 632. They're really big on 632s out here. The 480, 484, 4 spacing setup. They have a lot of races, including at a lot of these grudge races. They'll have a 632 class in there. So they're, like I said, I don't know. I'm trying to pitch to you to pick up and move all the way east, but you know what I mean?
Some of the greatest associations out there, from the Midwest Drag Racing Series to the PDR.
Right.
I mean, and then all the promoters that throw on great events, you know, Triggerman, Big Jake Productions, on races back there. I mean, Bodie's got a big race coming up this year in Kentucky, I believe it is, in Bowling Green. I mean, a lot of action happening back here.
You still follow grudge. If you know Trigger Man, you still follow grudge. Okay, you gotta go back and go up, you know, Darlington and that area on small tire Malibus to know Trigger Man.
Oh yeah. And
so,
I mean, like I say, I've got so many wonderful folks down there. I mean, I got to give a shout out to my guy Clyde Scott down there at Extreme Raceway. Man, he has one heck of a facility. So when you talk about tracks that, you know, love being at, definitely Extreme Raceway is on my list of favorite spots. I mean, he recently acquired Quartermax, the whole RJ deal. So I know that company is going to grow even bigger with Scott's visions. But yeah, man, I tell you, Clyde is great with that facility. That was one of the first facilities that I've been in where you got all these people on the starting line. I think it was like almost 1,000 people down there on the starting line. Couldn't even hardly see the car. Clyde had it under control. We all had fun. It was great. So, man, I tell you, there's a lot of good tracks down south, back east, and yeah, we'll definitely get there. And if she gets her a pro mod ride, oh man, it's really gonna be on.
Oh yeah. Mitchell, you left your mic off.
I was afraid there was some back feed that was happening, so that's why I muted it. But got a 2-story house right next to me that just came available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, to be interesting. I like buying real estate.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, Central Florida, we can find you a place big enough for, I don't know how big your rig is, but we can find you a place. That's not a problem, you know.
Yeah, and then, you know, that's one of the things is like, you know, prices of everything are so expensive in California. I think that's what has pushed a lot of our teams, local racers back east. You know, you got guys like Roger Holder, Mike Bowman, who won the first World Series of Pro Mod.
Yeah.
All the way from the West Coast and set up shop down in Florida or the East Coast and go race. So
is Bowman over here? I know Bowman's raced over here, but did he move over here?
No, he'll drag his rig across country to get over there to race and then come back, you know. But you know, there's a lot of interest. We got local guys like DJ Reed. He'll take his car down to Texas, and you know, and a lot of other guys that just love racing. So you might see us at one of your tracks, man. Don't count us. Don't
I
think-
hope so, because you're definitely going to let us know, because we're going to come up and talk to you and interview you again.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, but did want to make sure that we again say thank you to all of our sponsors, man. You know, Redline has definitely got us supported this year. Sprout Safety,
Renegade.
Renegade Fuel, Lockett Thor, who's a battery jumper company that recently gotten on board with us. Hoosier Tire, Foggett, Blaster Products. I mean, these folks stand behind us, and we're really proud to flag their banners. One thing I do have to mention, because this is, I think for me, it's been really important, and I don't know if everybody believes in this, but when I put her in the car, one of the most important things that I thought was necessary is to make sure that that car had insurance. And I went through Larice Motorsports, that motorsports insurance for her. Although I knew the car was safe, she was a new driver, and I did not want anything to happen to the guy in the other lane. So it was really important for me that, at the end of the day, if something were to happen, I wouldn't be telling the guy, oh, well, that's just racing. I have some insurance. We can make something happen. We'll figure it out. Because oftentimes guys will get out there and they don't have coverage at some of these events, and it's a total loss. So for me, it was a little peace of mind to know that not only is she safe, but if something happened, we're covered and we haven't taken a total loss. So really thank Jake Green and his team for getting us that insurance coverage.
That's very, very wise move. And you're right. And then Larice Insurance, not only did they cover on insurance, but they're racers themselves.
That's it.
The whole group are racers themselves, and they race everything from big money brackets to national events to everything in between to locals. So yes, I agree with you, and that's I think you put another idea in my head, because you're right. I need to go back and look at that stuff. I was at one time. I was looking at Haggerty. I was looking at them and stuff like that, but life got in the way, and quite honestly, I forgot. So I appreciate that. I'm making a little note to myself right now.
Make that note. Jay Green is great. I mean, he's been supporting us. I've driven for other people, and one of the things is like somebody else's car, I won't take a lap down the track unless we got some coverage, because I don't want a car to come in between the relationship of me and one of my partners that I'm driving for. So always trying to have some coverage just in case, because these cars, they're sub 1 second, 60 foot. Sometimes they're all over the place, and just want to make sure that we're covered on and off the track.
That's wise. That's a really wise move, and I appreciate that little bit of knowledge, because that is very, very helpful to not only me but to many other racers out there listening to this podcast, both live and in future. So Larice Insurance. So you said Jack Green?
Jake Green.
Jake Green.
Jake Green. I'm sorry, I got Jack Green on. Jake Green. Okay. Yeah, I got to look him up.
Mike Henry and Mieshael Henry.
I will. I'll drop your names. Don't worry. I'll drop your names. We're the type, we share because we care. So,
and a lot of folks, they don't. Maybe that's something that gets overlooked in all of the paint jobs and all the bling on some of these cars. But me is safety, and with her driving, I gotta make sure that she's safe, and that's why we trust Stroud Products to keep that car safe, right? We got diapers, we got parachutes, we got window nets, and they just implemented a new rule for top sportsmen. You got to have a 6-point harness by the summertime. So we'll be working with them on getting some 6-point belts set up in her car, some 7 points in mine, but really making sure that we're safe. To have that safety equipment is just as important as her running down the track.
Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to go home the way that you came to the track.
Absolutely.
Cars can be replaced, but people cannot.
That's it.
Now, speaking of safety, and I do remember hearing somebody say something before, especially new drivers in a position like you, in a very quick car that has that Hans devices and has all the extra safety. I've seen where at Bonneville where they do basically a blindfold test, where they get in the car completely strapped in, car turned off, but completely strapped in. You have to shut your eyes. the guy says, fire or get out, whatever, and what steps do you do? And you have to do them in a certain procedure before you get out. I take it that y'all have done something similar, meaning the car is set up where it's easy to get in and get out. Things are not hindering you, because I know you've seen it. I have too. We all have, where people's like going, whenever you need to get out, you see how many things they get caught on. And so I take it that was one of the things that Frank showed you probably in the school, and your father too.
Yeah, that was one of the tests, final test, that you close your eyes, turning the car on, turning the car off. Yeah. So when I'm at home, that's one of the things I practice too. If it's an emergency, how fast can you get out of it? Because you can be wedged in between a door and the driver door, you can't get out. So now you have to get out on the passenger side. Well, how fast can you get out of that car? Or if something's on fire, usually we take the safety pin out for the fire extinguisher, because I'm driving like this, and the pin is right here, so I could just pull this off, shut everything down, park it, get out.
I got you.
I've seen, Street Outlaws. I think it was Mike Murillo a few years ago, and car caught on fire, and Justin Swanson had to get him out because he was hung up trying to get out the car. And in any emergency, seconds are valuable. Seconds are precious, and it, those cars can burn really, really quick. So that's why I make sure she's got all of the safety gear, and sometimes I even throw a little extra on. They want her to have a 15, I got her a 20. Sprout makes some great stuff. So definitely just keeping her safe, keeping everybody safe around us, because that's equally, like I say, that's equally important to the race. And I make her practice crashes and what ifs, like, what if this happens, what if that happens. I had a 1970 split bumper Camaro that I actually bought from Clyde Scott down there at Extreme Raceway, and I was in Vegas with it and crashed. When I crashed that car, it ended up on its side sliding down the track. Before I could shut everything off, flames was coming inside, and the car was still moving. I literally jumped out of the driver's door and was leaning up against the retaining wall. The fire crew comes down, and they're like, "Where's the driver at?" I said, "Well, we never saw you got out." I was out of there so quick because everything in the car was designed. It was a Bickle chassis, and it was designed to get out quickly. You know what I mean? And so I think it's really important that people put a lot of thought into safety into the cars, because nowadays, I mean, it's not like the 80s, and a 7-second car was like almost like a funny car. Now these cars are low 4-second, 3-second cars. They're quick. They're accelerating. Mark Mickey, he'll go down there and run 220 to the 8th mile. And if something happens, you got to be able to get out of there. So I think, like you said, that blindfold test and really understand how to get out of a car is really important.
Not only safety, install some pads around my helmet, for my arm when I'm going down the track, and then leg padding too. So I'm good there as well. And then also poured me a seat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about how hot it get. I know layered up, it doesn't matter temperature outside because you're already well done. What I mean? But I mean, I'm with coolant suits and different things like that. There's we can't emphasize that enough to everybody. Especially when the temperatures get up to everybody, no matter who they are. It's like we've had people fall out at the track. We've had several people working at the track get close to it. Well, I mean, because, we've stopped over the past years. We stopped running brackets during the middle of summer. Dead middle of summer, we've stopped it at Gainesville because it's just too bloody hot. And, humidity, it's nice and cool, and, it's dry, which it's not. And, it creeps up on you. And that's what we keep telling people. And, Mitchell and I, fortunately, our cars don't require as much safety apparel as you. He's got air conditioner. He can really brag about that. But
not down the track, though.
Not down the track. No. But you know what I mean. But no, it's what you're doing is really wise for not only for your daughter, but for your team. So that's really good, and it helps promote Stroud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of racers, if you talk to them that run in professional ranks, they'll put all that stuff on to just sit somewhere where it's warm, where it's hot, to get themselves familiar with being uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
and still being able to perform at a high level. Uh, so yeah, the safety stuff is very important, and it's okay to feel a little uncomfortable to make sure that you're not going to get burned in the process.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you know, Mitch, honestly, I the other thing is, you know, I got to keep her safe because again, I don't want any excuses come Father's Day weekend in June saying that her helmet fogged up or the gloves slipped off. I don't want to hear none of that. Right?
That's three. That's three.
That's it. No excuses. No excuses, man. No excuses. She's going down. She's going down.
Hey, I don't know if Frank Holly still has it, but I knew back in the day, you used to be able to buy some stuff that you could put on your visor on the inside and outside, and it would keep it from getting fogged up. You need me to reach out to him and see if he still has some of that stuff, and I can get it shipped to you.
No, don't worry about it.
No, he's got it.
I think we're gonna try experimenting with some of that Deadline water wetter. I think I'll just put a coat of that over her visor, so use it as an anti fog, and then I'll take some of that red line assembly lube, put it on her gloves. So, you know, her hand might slip off the trans brake and go red or something.
Oh my goodness, you got to be the best trash talker. I tell you, see that? Yeah, you see that's why Miss Mieshael, she ain't gonna rattle for nothing because I know that you bring it and you can just all the time you can just bring it. So,
Your hands just still listening.
yeah, exactly. She's like, you know. So anybody try to get in her head, she's like, no. You got to meet my family. You know, this is nothing.
Yeah, because I mean, they do that to me at the track. They're like, you know, you're going up against this person. What are you gonna do? I'm like, hey, this is my favorite line. I'm running my lane. I don't care what the other person is doing. I'm running my lane. I'm going from A to B every time. So, hey, who cares?
Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to put a special request in for Tommy and the guys down at Stroud to do a little different on my parachute. May have something for her to read. So when we get down on the other end, she'll be able to tell everybody what that says on the back of that chute, huh?
That's 4. That makes 4. That was 4 digs. That's been 4 digs.
I win with the whole trailer and illicit, so it doesn't even matter.
Okay, not bad. 1 shot fired, not bad.
We can aim that car up. It's all right. We don't even need it anymore. Don't worry. They'll be calling me saying we need illicit down here at Bradenton Racing. We don't even need the Corvette.
Man, I could see her now going over and putting illicit on Ruthless's window, like right across, like a Ricky Bobby.
Yep.
Put it right across it. You know what I mean? This might be dangerous, but it looks good. You know, you know what I mean? And you're sitting there all strapped up, going, "You just didn't do that." You know.
Hey, West, I got somebody who wants to come down there and race in Brington.
I'm putting the air in the tires, okay?
Don't you start with that?
Tires at a certain, I'll bring it down just 2.
Oh yeah, better make sure that mouth guard's in, right, Mike? Because that thing gonna rattle your brains out when she gets done with it. And but you're like, I'm okay. I'll still get there. I know. But actually, that's what's missing. That's really what's missing. Okay, and I know families do it, but actually to hear good friendly banter going back and forth, and that bantering at the track with other racers. You know what I mean? I don't mean getting families involved, if you know what I mean. I don't mean nothing like that. But you know, but a good bantering back and forth, a good friendly rivalry. I know it's there, but that's what I like.
I think that's one of the things that Street Outlaws did for the sport. You know, they had characters. Like everybody there was a character. And I think this is why it's important for us to continue with, you know, naming cars, being spokespersons and ambassadors for the sports, because it's the story behind the race cars. It's a little trash talk. It's a little history. You know, it's very personable people. And I think that's what the industry needs. They need some Mieshael Henry out there to get them all lit up with her Pink Panther videos or something. I don't know.
There you go.
But
That's not bad though. That's not bad. That was a compliment.
Yeah.
That was kind of a compliment because she came up with the idea and did it. But no, we completely agree with you. But Mitchell and I both agree, and I know y'all do too. It's like as long as people are themselves, they don't try to make up something. You know what I mean? The staging for the camera and stuff. I know you got directors telling you because that's a different thing. But in life and in racing, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Whatever it is. But I mean, if you're loud, you're loud. If you're not, you're not. I don't take that wrong. I saw that little like that. No, I saw that.
That's what it's all about. And I think that's what one of the things that made John Force such an icon in the NHRA is he was just John Force, right? Yeah. A personality. He's a character in that industry. And, it's good to have the quiet guys, but they can't all be quiet. We have some characters out there. And I think these Street Outlaw guys and other guys like that, they're bringing something different. They're bringing a whole different fan base to some of these races. I mean, you look at what Kai Kelly did down there at that race, Snowbirds, and it was just phenomenal. I think he was on the show yesterday, matter of fact, and I don't even think he's really soaked it all in of what he actually accomplished, like really bringing that whole street outlaw, street style car, wheelbase and everything out to a show and winning. I mean, that was huge, huge.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, he did a phenomenal job.
And don't be surprised he doesn't park it there again in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's all great for the sport. And I like to see that, man. I mean, my wife and I, we already got a trip planned to go down to the World Series of Pro Mod just to hang out. Cause that's like going to the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. You got the baddest cars on the planet down there, and you'll sit there 45 minutes, an hour watching pro mods. And who doesn't love that?
And I tell you, heaven help them if they ever go instant green, because that street time goes back, and heaven help you if you got a flagger, or heaven help you if you got instant green, because he's got them covered. He'll have them covered, and other people that come from that background, will definitely have an advantage. But that's what makes the sport great.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely makes it great.
Well, I got to tell you, where can people find you again? What's your website and your book, and where can people get a hold of you?
So they can go to our website at DMR Racing. DM Racing, sorry. DM Racing LLC.com. You can follow us on Facebook, DNM Racing LLC, or my racing page, Mieshael_Henry. You can find me on TikTok, Mieshael_Henry. You can find me on Instagram, Mieshael_Henry, or on my YouTube, Mieshael Henry 415.
I got half of that written down.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Twitter,
Well, and that's what you have to do.
Right.
Twitter as well. So I'm everywhere.
Okay. No, you got us covered. We're currently on Facebook, YouTube, working on Instagram. We're on Spotify. And I think there's one more that you're on TikTok also. Are you not, Mitchell?
I am.
Okay. So
But usually I use TikTok mainly. I'll throw up the pro qualifiers and the pro winners and stuff like that. Put a little video together and post who won the classes at NHRA. I like to try to cross that over and do a little bit of that with PDRA this year. I just have to make sure that I don't get too overwhelmed with too much. And we also try to post the winners of NASCAR Truck Series, Xfinity, and the Cup Series. We don't do a whole lot of stories and stuff over there, but we do try to bring up that news and stuff on our page.
Okay.
All right. So we'll definitely be following. We'll share those links on all of our pages. Man, it was great being on the show tonight. Man, this was phenomenal. I can't wait to do it again. Really appreciate what you guys do, not only for the podcast, but the race coverage. Because that actually brings a lot of that race right into the folks' living room, right on their computer terminals. Because there's a lot of people that just physically can't get out there or can't get the time off. So having as much coverage as possible is really important to the sport, man. I really, really thank you all for the work that you do.
We agree and we thank you. But also, we would like you to please keep us in the loop with everything you're doing. Please send us your race information, your new sponsors as you pick them up, and you will pick them up. Okay. And also when your book goes to #1 sales, even if it's not #1 sales, top 10, let's just go with that. Send us that information. We'll be more than happy to put it out there and to try to help promote from our side.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and you didn't mention, who's the winner of the father-daughter shootout. I'm just saying, like, I think that would be breaking news,
It would be. It would be. If you got a 2 out of 3, now I see it being 2 different bets. Okay, 2 out of 3 on the finish line light, 2 out of 3 on the starting line.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, because me and my buddies, we play quarters off the trailer. And we
But
do
in whose head? Yeah.
Yeah, because me and my buddies, Mitchell and everybody, we do off the trailer. So we call our ET and we don't call reaction time, but we'll bet like a quarter or whatever like that goes to whoever got the best reaction time and whoever got called their time and ran it, or closest to it. So, I mean, it's just fun. But I can see y'all two doing that. I can see it.
I gotta go get a
And Mama's standing back there and just
Yeah. She's just standing back there. But I got confidence. My granddaughter, who barrel races, she'll be in my corner. I'm quite sure.
Oh my goodness! We've talked to some people whose families involved in that, and that's a totally different. We talked to somebody, Jeff Turk, earlier this year, and his wife is into barrel racing, but he never experienced it till he met her. You know what I mean? So he come from a whole drag racing world, and he goes, "Oh my goodness, this is wild." And he goes, "I've never been around horses like this." He goes, "This is wild." He goes, "They got a Christmas tree. They do this whole thing like that." And he's like going, it's intense. And I'm like going, okay, to hear
Power. Yeah.
to hear a drag racer say that, that's pretty intense right there. So I like that. But
I was like, "Hey, you want to get junior dragster? We'll start you off in juniors." And she's like,
Nope.
"Nah, I want a barrel race. I just want to ride horses." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what? Hey, I don't know. I'll never get to retire."
I was getting ready to say, please drag race, please drag race. It's less expensive than horses, not by much, I'm sure. But once again, I know we're taking a lot of your time and stuff. We really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us and sharing with us your histories and your present, your futures and goal, and a little fun ribbon back and forth.
Oh yeah. Got to have some fun, man. Appreciate you guys for having us on. Look forward to sending you some updates. Like you said, as marketing partners come on board, we'll look forward to have a positive, fully blessed 2025.
Well, I hope both of y'all have a wonderful season in 2025. And like Robert said, we're going to be watching and waiting on y'all. And we were just thrilled to have you on our show tonight. Especially talk a little bit about the 30 under 30 and where you want your career to go. And I tell you, you're very good with marketing because everywhere you go, you have this look on your face, a smile.
Yeah.
Always got a smile on your face. And that's what people want to see. They want to be greeted with a smile.
Definitely.
And the next picture we're going to see of you is in the winner's circle.
Smile.
Holding either the Race Wars or national event or divisional or something like. Oh, that's right. Daddy's running Race Wars. My bad.
Hey, that's not right.
No.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself. I forgot. Just somebody else stepped in. I don't know what happened just then. But
Smiling, holding a trophy and a box of tissues in my hand like this.
I love it.
And you know what? If we saw that picture, we would get it. And because we know he would do the same thing. He would hold that and tissue out this way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if we saw that picture, we would know exactly who they ran. So, that's pretty good. I like that. Okay. Well, let's just say we want to see you both in the winner's circle. How's that?
There you go.
May be able to bump into you down there at the World Series of Pro Mod. So
Yeah.
want to try to make it down there for that event and kind of get some pictures and videos and maybe a couple of interviews from some of the drivers that's going to be down there competing. But I tell you, once again, thank you so much for coming on, and we looking forward to the next show of having y'all.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mitchell. Thanks, Robert.
Thank
No
y'all
problem.
very much. Y'all have a great night, and thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
What a great show, man! They are two wonderful people. Both love this sport. You know, one of the things that I get from Michael is, you know, he wants the sport to be revolving and keep going by bringing younger people in, and and his daughter's doing a great job. Already wrote a children's book that talks a little bit about, like she said, having dreams and going for those dreams and keep thriving for that. But yeah, they were wonderful and looking forward to having them back on again in the immediate future. Just some breaking news that happened today. The IHRA announced that they had parted ways with Kenny Nolan. We don't know a lot about what prescribed to this happening. We may try to reach out to some members of IHRA and try to bring them on, and just not to talk about Kenny, but to talk about, is the plan still in place as it was when Kenny Nolan was the president there of all the events and bringing some of the classes back. I would like to know that, and so would a lot of other racers. And another thing that happened today was the NHRA announced that Darlington Dragway has now joined NHRA, and they will be a Division II track. So what does that mean? Hey, that might be another place where bracket racers can go for a divisional final before winning and heading out to California. So really looking forward to all the news. We may even try to reach out to Cody, which is the director of Division II, and see if we can get him on and talk a little bit about the news of Darlington joining NHRA and talk about their bracket program and see if they may even be hosting here soon, because Darlington is pretty well in a good predicament of being centered for all the other division tracks to be able to go there. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. And
I mean, that's big news. I mean,
it is. Because,
not only about IHRA, but about Darlington.
Right. We got some other great interviews that are coming up this coming Thursday. Robert's ready for it, and since he set it up, I'm going to let him talk a little bit about that real quick.
Well, we have a couple, but on January 16th, we have Zach and Seth Buff, the track operators of Shadyside Dragway. Had an opportunity this past year to I got family outside of Shelby, North Carolina. So my wife and I just took an afternoon, went over there, and they just happened to have a no prep series there. And I'll tell you what, it's a small track, but it is so nice. The people are so nice. They got some quick cars there, and they race all the time. Basically, if it's I can't remember if it's 35 or 50 degrees and sunny, they race. And it's like they're racing now on Sundays for Tessington, as long as it's not snowing, which I'm sure right now is probably getting close. So they're coming on the 16th to talk about the history. Their grandfather started the track. Their father bought it and owns it. And now the grandchildren operate it. And they all work at the track, all of them. It's not like they just stand off and watch. They're very, very involved. So we're really looking forward to that. And Mitchell, I think we have another young lady coming on the 21st, correct?
Yes, we actually on the 21st, we are going to have Michelle Richardson. She is getting back in the top alcohol dragster car for 2025. And so we're going to talk to her about her marketing partners and her plans for this coming year. And then right after that, that Thursday, we are going to have Raul Torres of South Georgia Motorsports Park. And we're going to dive into their Peach Showcase,
Yeah, that's it.
which is really cool. Maybe a lot of people might not be able to go to a national event where they live. So Raul Torres and the NHRA is bringing that to South Georgia's Motorsports Park. It's going to be a really great event for people to get a taste of nitro and pro stock motorcycle. I want to say they're going to run a pair of top fuelers, a pair of funny cars, 4 pro stockers, and 4 pro stock motorcycles at that event, with some other classes that'll be going on around that. So we're looking forward to having him on and discussing that. I think it's a great opportunity for his facility. They've been working really hard over the past couple of years. I want to say it's 2 years now, right, Robert? Since they took over South Georgia. Just putting on a ton of races and events. They've got campgrounds. They do mud bogs, RV like track around the facility. Just doing a lot of great things to bring people in and different avenues of the automotive, enthusiast, and it gives an opportunity to cross paths and maybe bring some of those who enjoy doing the mud bogs over to the drag strip and having a second love in motorsports.
Yeah, and they're working on reopening up the paved oval that's there, the paved oval track. I don't know exactly when that is on the docket, but that is coming. They've made just tremendous upgrades. Even when the hurricane that passed through western Florida, went through Georgia, all up into the Carolinas, came through and hit part of that track, and it tore up quite a bit. And that was right before one of Duck's races. And they worked. Not only did they work and get the track fixed and ready and prepared to go racing, but they also opened up part of the track as a staging area for all the local electric authorities around there to stage equipment to help everybody in the community's surrounding areas. So that's going to show, that's a small example that Raul and his staff give back to the community. They want to try to support the community as best they can. And that's really good. That's really, really good to help out the community like that.
Yeah. And speaking of South Georgia Motorsports Park, next month, Lights Out, one of Duck's races, will be back there at the track. And I'll tell you what, if you have never been to a Ducks race and watched some of these cars and limited drag radial, Pro 275, Radial versus the World, I mean, they put on a show for the spectators. If you've never been, just go out there for one day, and see if you like it. I guarantee you'll buy a ticket to come back the second day. But absolutely. Yeah, and then we've got live streaming of the first Scorpion Racing ET series at Gainesville Raceway at the end of the month on Saturday and Sunday. I want to say that's the 27th and 28th. So we're really looking forward to that and getting back in the roll of things after about, 6 weeks off from racing. I don't
know. I lost track because I had mine pulled apart, the weekend after. You know what I mean? And I'm still working on it and taking care of family and stuff like that, and PRI and all that. It all, about that.
Kind of runs,
it all runs together. But ladies and gentlemen, we're working on some other people coming on from other organizations next month. So keep checking back with us. And also, if you have somebody you would like us to contact, to talk to him about coming on the podcast, just let Mitchell or I know. You can reach out to us on Messenger on Facebook, or you can reach us either directly and just let us know. Because we've had a couple people reach out to us and give us a contact of somebody's name, and one of them we're bringing on next month. So, like I said, we listen, we appreciate it, and we continue to appreciate your support. We continue to back Redline Oil for coming on this year with On the Spot Motorsports Media. Exactly. And also for Scorpion Racing Products. They're based out of Ocala. They're coming on to not only partner with us, but they also partner with Gainesville Raceway for the Scorpion Bracket Racing Series, and also for South Georgia Motorsports Park, where they also partner for their Bracket Racing Series and other venues too. So we thank them very much for continuing to support us and back us, but also continue to follow us on Facebook, like and share, subscribe, and also for YouTube. Once again, like, share, subscribe on that. Also, Spotify. It's On the Spot Motorsports Media there for Spotify. It's doing baby steps there, but working on it, continue to grow. But there's many different interviews on there for you to listen to. And also, like Mitchell said, Instagram and also TikTok. So we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. And
we're
thank you for everybody.
slowly growing. And I can't thank the followers enough. It looks like we're going to hit 17,000 possibly by tomorrow or Saturday morning. 17,000 followers. And we know what that means for 2025. It won't take long, and we might be looking at 25,000 by the end of the year. So we want to thank y'all for watching us and staying with us, and reading the articles that we post on our page. A big thank you goes out to y'all, because if it wasn't for you, we might not be doing this.
Right. But we appreciate everybody, and we thank you very much. And like I said, we wish y'all all a good night until next time.
Take care. We'll see you next Thursday.
All right. Take care.